Cricket and Danny tie the knot? Recap. On today's The Young and the Restless recap, Nina returns for Cricket's wedding. Cricket is getting ready for her upcoming wedding at the GCC and is thrilled when Nina arrives, us too. She knows it isn't easy for her friend to be in town. Nina tears up as SH says she's going to visit Dominique and visit all the places that remind her of Chance. Lauren saves the day with tissues so the two don't ruin their makeup. Cricket is so excited and her friends share in her joy. Lauren and Nina hand Cricket their gift. It's a box filled with something old, new, borrowed and blue. The old is the liner notes from one of Danny's old cassettes where he mentions her for the first time. The new is the hula girl from her first wedding to Danny. The borrowed is a bracelet Michael gave Lauren after one of their fights, so Cricket will remember they will always make up. The something blue is a handkerchief to wipe her tears so her makeup doesn't smudge. Just then, flowers arrive and Cricket begins to sneeze and her eyes water as she is clearly allergic, no doubt from Phyllis. Previous The Young and the Restless recap. Matt wants Sharon and Nick to play a game for Noah's life. Daniel sends Phyllis to her room on The Young and the Restless. Phyllis and Daniel are hanging in the lobby of the GCC. Phyllis is ranting about the extravagance of the decor, especially considering they've walked down the aisle before. The entire spectacle makes her ill. Daniel doesn't want her ruining the wedding and Phyllis can't handle the thought of sticking around for the boring ceremony. She heads upstairs and Daniel wants it to be the last time he sees her that evening. Daniel joins his father, Michael and Gina in the bar. Gina asks Daniel about Lucy who is homesick and the two get all adorable. Later in the episode, Cricket and Danny exchange vows. What did you think of today's episode? Sound off in the comments and watch the video clip below. Keep checking back for the latest The Young and the Restless recaps. This story was originally reported by Daytime Confidential on November 21, 2025, where it first appeared in the Young and the Restless section. Add Daytime Confidential as a preferred source by clicking here. The sun rose over Maplewood in a shade of honeyed gold, as if the sky itself had woken early to celebrate. The town was buzzing, literally, in the case of Mrs. Holloway's neon "Congratulations" sign that hummed like a hive, and for good reason. It was the day everyone had been waiting for, the day Cricket Marin and Danny Thorne finally tied the knot. For a year and a half, their love story had been the favorite gossip topic, Netflix replacement, and emotional investment for half the town. It had drama, it had sweetness, it had the kind of chemistry that made people nudge whoever was next to them and whisper, "Oh, they're definitely meant to be." And now, finally, it had a wedding. Where it all started. Before the vows, before the chaos of planning, before Cricket realized she had opinions on napkin colors, the story began the way all good ones do, with accidental disaster. Cricket had been new to Maplewood, fresh-faced, hopeful, and determined to start over after a nasty breakup. Danny had been a long-time resident, local elementary school PE teacher, and the kind of guy who was always covered in either grass stains or glitter from class art projects. Their first encounter happened when Cricket's overexcited sheepdog, Puddle, broke free of her leash and barreled straight into Danny while he was jogging. Danny went toppling into a puddle. Cricket's face turned the color of a ripe tomato. Puddle wagged his tail, proudly unbothered. Danny laughed, really laughed, a warm sound like sunshine poured into a person. Cricket apologized profusely. He waved it off. And somehow, by the time Cricket got home, Danny had followed her, not in a creepy way, but because she dropped her phone in the chaos. That was the beginning. After that, the two seemed to orbit each other. Chance meeting after chance meeting. Shared coffees. Late-night chats. The kind of companionship that grows naturally, like vines on an old brick wall. Nothing rushed. Nothing forced. Just right. The proposal, the chaos incident. Danny's proposal became legendary. He had planned something modest. A walk through Maplewood Park at dusk, a small fairy light set up under the willow tree, and a heartfelt speech he had rehearsed in the mirror roughly 96 times. But of course, this was Cricket and Danny. Chaos was part of the deal. First, Puddle discovered the fairy lights and tried to eat them. Then the sprinklers in the park malfunctioned and shot water 10 feet into the air like sudden, aggressive fountains. And then, because the universe apparently enjoyed comedic timing, The entire Maplewood High track team ran through the area shouting, "Coach Danny! Coach Danny! Are we late?" Danny, drenched, hair stuck to his forehead, dropped to one knee anyway. Cricket burst into laughter so bright and joyful that even the sprinklers seemed to pause in admiration. She said yes immediately. The track team cheered. Puddle howled. And somewhere, Cricket swore she heard wedding bells. But maybe that was just the ice cream truck that rounded the corner. The wedding week begins. The week of the wedding arrived with the ceremonial Maplewood mixture of excitement and catastrophe. Cricket's mother insisted every detail should be magazine perfect. Danny's mother insisted they invite every living member of the Thorne family, and possibly several deceased ones, in spirit. Puddle decided he hated bow ties. And Cricket's maid of honor, Lila, discovered the bridesmaids' dresses had been delivered in the wrong color. Instead of sage green, they were a color that could only be described as overconfident lemon. "No one will notice," Lila lied as Cricket stared, horrified. "They look like fruit-flavored traffic cones," Cricket said. The bridesmaids wore them anyway, because nothing, not even screaming yellow fabric, would ruin this wedding. The night before, the rehearsal dinner was supposed to be simple. It was not. Danny's Uncle Floyd accidentally set a centerpiece on fire by placing it too close to the fondue station. Cricket's cousin spilled an entire bowl of punch onto the seating chart. And Puddle, in a daring and successful escape attempt, ran through the venue carrying the ring pillow in his mouth like a conquering hero. When Cricket finally stepped outside for air, Danny followed her. He found her sitting on the steps, staring at the sky. "It's going to be a mess," she said. "Probably," he agreed. "But it'll be our mess." Cricket leaned her head on his shoulder, suddenly calm. "That's all I want." The big day. From the moment Cricket woke up, she felt it. This is right. The morning slipped by like a montage. Makeup, hair, dresses, laughter, a small moment of panic when Lila couldn't find the safety pins, and Cricket staring at herself in the mirror as if trying to memorize the version of her who was about to make one of the biggest promises of her life. Meanwhile, Danny was across town trying to keep the groomsmen from playing full-contact football in dress clothes. "They won't get tackled," his best man, Jordan, insisted moments before two of them destroyed a flower arrangement. Danny just laughed. He couldn't help it. Every nerve in his body was electrified. He was excited, terrified, thrilled, somehow all at once. But mostly he was ready.